Oi, oi, it's your boy. The date is the 13th of the 9th, 2024, and we get ourselves some FP1 of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and I'm here for its storied narratives. McLaren, team orders, lack thereof, changing their mind. Do they even understand the requisite minerals necessary to win themselves a driver championship? Or have they blown it already? Andrea Stella coming out and saying that they know now that they made a mistake at the Monza Grand Prix, the Italian Grand Prix, even. Oh, the humanity. Wackerson, you're a legend. Yeah, mate. You know what I mean, Wackerson? Sometimes, I don't know, when you're trying to build a community like we are out here, then you got to show and prove, mate. Like, turn up, Cameron. Less complaining, less talking, more action. Wackerson, you're a legend, though, mate, and far too kind visual. The Lani, internet getting a bit techie. Mate, you got to have some internet for this. It's going to get mayhemy. Eddie, what's going on? Living on the edge. Legends, one and all. Go on then, let's talk about McLaren first, because I keep hearing them. They flip-flop from time to time. I don't know. And by the way, we are T-minus 11 minutes away from FP1. It's going to be techie. There were upgrades, and we will talk about all of those in short order. The most notable of which, by the way, is Red Bull, who have brought a new floor, not necessarily to add points of downforce, but to broaden the window within which they can operate and access that sweet spot, trying to turn that RB20 away from being a W13, which is exactly what Max Verstappen are alluding to. Max and Checo are alluding to as far as its handling capabilities. It can't turn in -5 brake bias et al. Oh, the humanity. Who knew that the RB20 was always a W13 in disguise? When I said W13, of course, I'm talking about the multitudinous iniquities of the previous iteration of Mercedes car. But go on, let's talk about this McLaren thing, because I keep hearing this. I keep playing this interview back through my head, and I still don't know. Right, look, there's been 3 interviews. One with Oscar, one with Lando, and one with Andrea Stella. The Andrea Stella one, you know what? Let's bring it up. Andrew Benson summarises it more succinctly than me. Andrew Benson writes that McLaren have asked Piastri to back Norris in his title bid. McLaren are to prioritise Lando Norris over teammate Oscar Piastri in their bid to win both Formula One World Championships this year. But team principal Andrea Stella said any actions taken to back Norris in the driver's title chase would happen only within the team's principles of sportsmanship and fairness. Stella told the BBC, the overall concept is we are incredibly determined to win, but we want to win in the right way. See all this? He continues. This is where I go scorched earth so quickly. Look, he continues, our principles are that the team interest always comes first. Sportsmanship for us is important in the overall way we go racing, and then we want to be fair to both drivers. Until now, Benson writes, McLaren had allowed Norris and Piastri to race each other without interference from the team. The bloody papaya rules. What does that even mean? Papaya rules? What, don't crash? Hang on. I'm sure that's outlined in the regs and the sporting code of conduct. Like, what are we adding here? But right, it's a nice, sexy soundbite, right? The papaya rules, but sexy soundbites we all know as grizzled F1 vets don't help win championships. Not when you've got a 3 soon-to-be 4-time champion across the way in Maximilian Verstappen in an RB20. Yeah, they're not an hora buena necessarily. They haven't been going well, but this is the time to strike. Therefore, Lando Norris over the past couple of races, by virtue of McLaren's action or lack thereof, has given away an additional 10 points in terms of his variance to Maximilian Verstappen in the driver's standing, and that's not good enough. Can you imagine, as cruel as the F1 gods are sometimes, if Lando Norris finishes this season less than 10 points adrift of Maximilian Verstappen? They will rue those decisions that they failed to make at the altar of fairness and equality, etc., etc. What are we doing here? This is Formula One. And again, it feels like, I know singularity of focus is always a thing, and Andrea Stella hitherto has epitomised that processes over outcomes, etc. And those are the building blocks, again, necessary to win yourself races and championships, therefore. But I'm struggling to reconcile myself with, we're going to effect team orders within rules of engagement and fairness and team. What? These things are diametrically opposed. Team orders can never be fair, but can they win your driver a world championship. 1000%. We've seen that titles have been won on much less than 10 points. So what are we doing here, McLaren? And I'm rooting for them. I hope, I hope Lando's been brilliant all season. He's made mistakes. This is me saying he's been perfect, and he's by no means infallible as far as an F1 peddler. But he's been quite good. If Oscar Piastri is meant to be the next Ayrton Senna, then so roundly and comprehensively is Lando Norris beating that dude in qualifying and head-to-head in race, then, you know what I mean? Although Lando Norris naysayers will say, well, it's his sophomore season, mate. If you're Lando Norris and this is like your 6th season, then you should be trouncing Oscar Piastri. So extensive is your experience and tenure advantage. Oh, it's going to get techie. T-minus 6 minutes away. And of course, I will get at the cheeky metrics provided to us by our mates over at the goatiest F1 app called Multiviewer. Paisley morning. What's going on, Paisley? Oh, Selvin at it. Damon says, keep defying doubters. Cam, love your work. Damon, you're a legend. We just, you know what I mean? I defer all credit to you guys, the guests that come on the channel, Wins and Nasher, Quick Stop F1, like, you know what I mean? Shares and Baxley of the Shake, that like, I am only, this is only as big as you guys make it, you know? We are a fan channel and we're looking to keep the F1 conversation. You know, I was listening to, I'll let you guys into a cheeky secret as we're T-minus 6 minutes away from start of a FP1 session. I was listening to some content. Normally, my content I try to ingest everything, right? I'm an aggregator per se. I want to ingest all the key highlights and all the material, the narratives that are noteworthy so that I can come and articulate and divulge them to you. I'm providing a service out here. And then, of course, superimposing onto the aforementioned my very noddy F1 opinion, which, of course, is a function of a very noddy, small F1 mind. I was listening to the Checkered Flag podcast with Jenny Gow and Jolyon Palmer and Adrian Newey. I usually use it to go to sleep, and I just didn't rate it. Benson's brilliant. All F1 journalists are created equally, but some are created more equal than others. Mate, I just was boring. Honestly, chat. I shouldn't talk disparagingly about the BBC F1 editor, Andrew, but like, it was boring. The space is lacking for a bit of verve. Sometimes I'm going to come on here and go scorched earth, laced with a bit of information and edutainment and kayfabe. But bloody Nora, like the couple, the guys that you see come on here and that I collab with, like, oh, what's that? Of course. But like the internationally syndicated broadcasters are so straight-laced and prim and proper and chin touche. I would like to divulge. You know, it's like, what do you do? Other than Ted Kravitz, he was asking the proper questions, by the way, to the McLaren lot. Like, I just the content that we get from the internationally syndicated broadcast and the BBC, just all very much like, yeah. Although, shout out to the Race. Race put together a brilliant podcast with Will Buxton. I want to say it's Scott Mitchell. I never forget I always forget the other guy's name. But it's a brilliant podcast where they discussed all the permutation. Will Buxton had a couple of explanations for Mercedes' seeming willful negligence. Their hesitance even to effect team orders. Techie. Go on then. Ted Kravitz. T-minus 3 minutes away. What did Ted Kravitz say? Well, let me try and get up some metrics before we actually start. Courtesy of our mates over at Multiviewer. 100 plus of you watching concurrently. Do me a favour and smash that like button, por favor. Every little helps. You know what I mean? If you don't smash the like button, the YouTube algorithm thinks that I'm out here talking rubbish, and we don't need that. We definitely don't need that. 144. Jomo, legend that is. Yeah, Cameron McLaren don't know how to act. They fell on the sweet spot at first time in a long time. Surprise. You're spot on, Sydney. And maybe we need to cut them some slack and give them some racing room and grace in that sense. Because, I mean, they're brand new to this, aren't they? It has been many years between now and 2007 when they last won themselves a Drivers' Championship. And they haven't come close since, have they? So I don't know. Maybe we need to give them some grace and some racing room, but still, it's a chat that upsets me. It's like they don't know what they're doing. You know what I mean? That the left hand, as far as McLaren are concerned, the papaya colour team, does not talk to the right, and that's not good enough. Banker Hours is funny. Candidate, what's going on, Candidate? You're a legend. Cam, do you think Aston can be competitive next year? So I think, Bonaparte's techie exam questions already. Here's what I think about that. I think that there is a lead time. Even if you institute the best aero tech mechanical team that the world has ever seen in F1 tomorrow, there's still going to be a lead time, right? It's a difference in extents and not kind. So whether it's 12 or 24 months, now Adrian Newey's been working on a car. You're not bringing in somebody external. So he'll be well acquainted with the rules for 2025, and then he'll be familiarising himself with the rules of 2026. But that doesn't mean to say that Adrian Newey has a magic wand that he can just click his fingers and, do you know what I mean? Snap his heels together and just magic a brand new sexy Aston Martin that's a world dominator. It will take some time, Bonapartist. I say all that to say that there is a lead time in F1, and but I mean, if there is such a thing as a guarantee for success in F1, then it would be Adrian Newey. I saw something that said that like Fernando Alonso has raced in 33% of all F1 races ever held since 1950. And again, that's a function of the fact that we have more races in a season now, 24 as versus 14 back in the day or whatever. But similarly, Adrian Newey's were 19.7. Adrian Newey cars, have won 19.7% of all F1 races ever held since the inception in 1950. That, ladies and gentlemen, is bonkers. Do you know what I mean? And again, there's no such thing as a guarantee for success. But if there were one, it would look and smell and feel a lot like Adrian Newey. What's going on, Brandon? Yeah, mate. Brandon's all's good. I apologise. I've been a bit elusive over the past 48 hours. My the schedule has done one of these. I've dropped off, not least because of a cheeky per diem that sometimes needs a bit of sun and water. What's going on, Eddie? You good? Eddie, there's a message that I need to respond to, mate. That's chaos. I can't even talk to it on that. It's far too serious. Brett, I don't think Lando has the mental fortitude to win a championship. Oscar is a cold-blooded killer. So you say that, Brett, and I hear you. It's techies, isn't it? This is the conversation that we're going to be having throughout this race weekend. Whether Lando has the mental fortitude or can get it soon if he doesn't have it. It's techie. I don't want to be the old man at the bar saying, well, back in my day, if it was Schumacher. But it's hard, isn't it? Like it's what we're used to. There are common threads amongst the most recent world champions, and one of those is, of course, ruthlessness and fearlessness, and quite literally not giving a fudge. You know what I mean? That's what we're talking about here. And sadly, you can even hear it in Lando's tone and his verbiage. He cares too much yet, and still. He just cares. He's quite. Do you know what I mean? He's vulnerable. You kind of want to give him a hug, and I'm not sure that's. Is that championship material? Can you be a champion with those vulnerable personality and mental fortitude? I don't know. It's all too techy and chaotic. It's far too techy. Here we go. Excuse me. I'll be back, I promise. All right, that's good. And then there's something else that I need, isn't there? All right, bear with. I'm coming. I promise I am coming. Okay, let's go. Right. Let's go. Right, let us go. And again, everything that you see on your screen is brought to us by our mates over at Multiviewer. Support them because they support us. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Right, let me get the one-man band here. You guys will have to excuse me. Do you know what I mean? Fernando kneeling before Lawrence Stroll was a bit... You know what, Pope? I saw the picture and I just presumed it was a meme. I just didn't think that Fernando would have that in his locker, to kneel, to bend the knee before Lawrence Stroll. It's a bit weird. It's a bit cringy. I agree with you, Ron. Lando is so good a driver that he can't do it without team orders. See, Ron, I disagree with that, mate. I disagree with that. This isn't an entitlement thing, is it? It's not an entitlement thing. It's an optimize for your chances thing, is it not? Is it not? Don't you just want to? I don't know, man. I think we're overcomplicating the thing. Everyone expects no. Bear with me. All right, let's go. Okay, we have ourselves a thing. Although you can't see this. Right, let's go. Okay. Right. And now again, Karan Chanduk talking about how Piastri's not happy. Why would he be happy? Why would he be happy? Oh, Gary, you're an absolute legend. Different gravy out here gifting memberships. And if you want to become a member of Cameron CC, put some respect on his name. That will entitle you, of course, to access to the Discord, where we continue the mode of conversation, the discourse, no pun intended, not Discord. And again, you'll get a cheeky newsletter on the community tab each and every single week, and you'll get priority in the chat each and every single time. What's Paisley said, your bath plug is a bit mad. Speaking of plugs, I need to plug myself. Going to start posting more. Eddie, if that's your luck, mate, go for it. I can't. I feel like life is a finite resource, though, I'll be honest with you. And negativity is a gaseous substance. As such, it will expand, Eddie, into any space that you give it. So I just, I'm done. You got shows in this Multiviewer plugging more than my battle. I you Paisley. No. Listen, I just think they're a brilliant app, and I think if you enjoy some add value metrics whilst you watch your F1, then we're a better place to go. Got to shout on them out. They're good. They're good guys. They've been good to me. You know what I mean? Stroll gets Pauling back at behave yourself. Tomoko, no chance. No chance. Go for it, Eddie. Mate, you've got to do what makes you happy, chap. What a legend. Man like Josh, what's going on, chap? Oh, and welcome to the clan. Bizzle, Slipstream, Gaming, 4-4 Life. I love that. Abdulaziz. Right, let's go. We are into a session, and it's going to be, listen, as always, context for this. It's going to be a fact finder, isn't it? Red Bull need to get out in front of with their new upgrades, again with a view to extend their not insubstantial sweet spot, but it's not where like that's why Max Verstappen is struggling, right? It's not for absolute. Oh, fudge. It's not for. Here we go. Here we go. Right, we got it. Right, it's not for lack of pace or lack of downforce in absolute points terms, but they just can't access it right. They just don't. It's too hard to access it. It's too hard to switch on the tyres. It's too hard to keep that car in its sweet spot at the moment. That's why you hear Max Verstappen not having a great time of it, right? Moaning all the time. Cam, what's your thoughts on Kimi as a driver? How good was he in your opinion? Seems like he's always had bad luck after his first and only championship. This guy, I feel like the bulk of his bad luck as far as Kimi Räikkönen, not Antonelli, was front loaded. Do you mean by that, Cameron? I remember, I think I'm saying early 2000s. I think 2002. I think Kimi Räikkönen should have won that championship. You know, he was plenty quick enough, but the car was just breakable. Do you remember there was a time when he was rapid? The car was quick, Adrian new machine, but it just kept on breaking Kimi Räikkönen's hand. Maybe he was pushing it too hard. Maybe the car was too fragile. I remember the time when he was about to take a turn, a cheeky right-hander, and the bloody rear wing just vaporized. Like, yeah. But then, to be fair, 2007, the racing gods giveth and then they taketh away, right? Because in 2007, when he won his one and only, and he should have been a multi-time world champion, Kimi, he's plenty quick enough. You need to go and have a listen to F1 Elvis, who worked alongside him, and he'll tell you that Kimi was probably, and he worked with Alonso and Lewis, and Kimi was probably the quickest point-to-point driver that he ever worked with. But that's, again, the F1 gods giveth and then they taketh away, right? Because why? Kimi Räikkönen, when he won 2007, when he had no right to win. That championship belonged to Lewis Hamilton, if not Fernando Alonso. Do you know what I mean? Lando has no hope, says Debit. Oh, no, say it's not so. Two birds with one stone. Gary, you're a legend. Thank you so much. Yes, exactly. I remember that. Exploded off the rib. Bonkers, Nisco. I've never seen anything like it before or since. It's like they didn't even attach the rear wing on properly. Go on then. Let's have a cheeky gander. What's going on? Lewis Hamilton, purple. Let's go. 147.6. The sun's very hot. Sun's very hot. Says one Sir Lewis, Carl, Davids and Hamilton. Do you know what I mean? Are they that car is just that's all they were moaning about last race as well, right? The seating being super warm and always something hot in that W15. Yeah, Sir Lewis deserved it. Do you know what I mean, Ronadale? It's yeah, Michael, seats hot again. What's going on? It was painful to watch. Kimi R should be a two-time world champion. I don't disagree, Damon. He was quick. He was quick. As Gary's entitled to do, Benzie. Do you know what I mean? Mate, feel free. Feel free if you want to become a member and get priority in the chat and get access to the Discord and all that good stuff. But yeah, I still don't know. This you can win a faster car. Yeah, Deb, that's what he said, isn't it, though? Lando Norris once upon a time told Lewis Hamilton it's easy to win if you have yourself a fast car. Oh, the humanity. What are we doing? Right, upgrades. Red Bull have bought a floor upgrade to here again with a view to broaden that sweet spot of that RB20 iteration of that car. They're struggling. They're struggling. Although that's not to say that Checo Perez hasn't historically done really well around here. He's the only two-time winner at Baku. And so if you can get the car underneath him, expect Checo Perez to go well. And he will need to for the avoidance of doubt, right? I mean, he's got between now, so he's got this race and he's got Singapore. And then word on the F1 curb is that if his performance is still not sufficient, not fit for purpose, that Christian Horner and Helmut Marko are going to have themselves another meeting and make themselves another decision. He needs to hang on till October the 27th, though. That's what Liberty Media want. And Mr. Kimi Räikkönen era, was he goated? He was very, very good, Michael. One of the quickest. And this is Michael, this goes to the sentiment that speed isn't the start and finish of winning F1 championships, right? There are very, very many fast F1 drivers who haven't won. Please use your Exhibit A. Jarno Trulli, the Trulli chain master, qualified brilliantly well, sometimes faster than anyone. But could he race? Valtteri Bottas, please see you as your Exhibit B. Super, super fast in qualifying. You can't be slow and out-qualify Lewis Hamilton. That's just the nonsense, right? It's not true. Like, you've got to be quick, but you need more than just speed and a quick car if you're going to win races. And again, it makes you put some more respect on, like, Max of late, right? Lando needs to, and Lewis from 2014 to 2020. Not anybody can do that. He's in the hot seat. Love that analogy. Or that euphemism even. Double entendre settings from Moles. Lando's turned the other cheek. Has he not? He must be steaming right now, and Cam keeps riding in. Sydney, I oh, Sydney's got to do more. I've listened to so many opinions, red flags, conditions. I don't know what's happened. He's got to do more than this, man. He's got to force the issue with McLaren. The reason why it was more difficult for him to make a decision because he kept making mistakes, not massive ones, not Charles Leclerc in Paul Ricard type ones, but he keeps making mistakes, small ones, and they all count, right? If he were closer in the championship to Max Verstappen, he would have forced the hand of Andrea Stella. They would have had to make this team orders decision sooner than they had done, and that's where it gets a bit techie. Like Lando has to take some, as much as I dislike the faffing around from Andrea Stella and Zach Brown, Lando Norris absolutely has to take some blame in this root cause analysis, but he just has to. That's the truth. Force their hand, as did Michael Schumacher back in the day. Lewis Hamilton between 2014 and 2020. Valtteri Bottas could never have gotten a whiff, okay, occasionally, but not enough of a whiff to make Mercedes' decision as to who they needed to back hard. Do you know what I mean? Exactly, this Nisco, you're a legend. Do me a favour and smash a like. 155 of you watching concurrently as we are 15 minutes into an FP1 of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Red flag settings. No David Croft in the commentary box, by the way. Much to the elation of much of the community, which I think is a bit harsh, I'll be honest with you. People really dislike Crofty. In the name of British bias, eh? I think it's a bit... I think people can be a bit harsh on Crofty, I'll be honest with you. I like Crofty. I think Alex Jakes has been outstripping him of late, but you know what I mean? It's... just noticed the track looks like a key. I know. There's another track that looks similar to this, but it's like... I can't remember which. Very, really, really similar, but just turned. Eddie says, my mission is to combat negativity and idiot. I think we're singing from similar hymn sheets there, Eddie. You know what the thing is, Eddie? I'll be honest with you, mate. Some people aren't interested nor invested in truth, value, or objectivity. That's the truth. And they exist in every fan base is the truth also, Eddie said. You know what I mean? My stream is slow. What's the reason for the red flag? Hold on, we're just getting a replay of it. Oh my God, who's that? Bit of debris being picked up on track. That's all minor. Just got the visuals. Also delayed, Mr. Bungle. Red flag because of one debris. There you go, Mr. Bungle. Oh, the humanity. Damon says poison. Faster than Joe dropping out. Yeah, don't get your content out, Eddie. Like if you want to make, don't let anybody hold you back. Like if you want to make content on anything, but I mean, I would. Negative energy is absolutely a gaseous substance. It will indeed expand into any space that you give it. Is the only thing. That's what I'll say. So keep your eyes on the F1 prize if you fancy some content creation. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going to go on with Lando. Needs to make, listen, even as an example, right, at Monza, why is he braking so conservatively into the second chicane? Why, Lando? Why would you make your life more difficult than necessary? This makes no sense. Red flag conditions ceased. Now we're under yellows. Max in an interview said that Newey at Aston Martin made him think of rejoining with Newey. We get Max in a Sir Lewis Hamilton Merc when dominant after the reg changes. Let's see if that also easily leads to 6 World Championship Sky Stop F1. Maybe one. I wouldn't back against Max joining Aston Martin. But that's dependent on a couple of different things. If you turn the track upside down, it looks like it. Truth, this guy. Will Max join Aston Martin? Not if Red Bull can provide him with a car. And again, this is why these Grand Prix are so bloody important, because the ramifications going forward are so like consequential. If they don't give Max a car, he will go away. And rightfully, like, oh, Max can't win in a car that's not. Nobody can win in a car that can't win races. No one. This is the oldest truism. And listen, you see where I'm going with this, Eddie? You've got to lace all of your F1 monologues and debates and discussion with at least a semblance of understanding and perspective about the perspective of the other person. Listen, there are a gazillion and one F1 fans who have just come to the sport, right? Brand new, literally just started watching. 2021 was the first season that they watched. Some of them even just watched the second half, right? That's only a couple of seasons. So then you've got to have a conversation. You've got to temper your conversation if indeed you are a diehard, grizzled F1 veteran. Like, you can't, do you know what I mean? I can't be saying, oh, how do you not know that you can't win without a car? Well, people won't know because they're brand new to the sport. That's why. And so there is a level of understanding and sensitivity that you've got to apply when you're having these conversations. I say all that to say that. Techie. Simple short I posted 2 days ago, laughing at illiteracy. Eddie, I cannot comment. I haven't even seen the short, Eddie, but I understand, I think, what you're talking about. I'll have a look, mate. AM already said if Max wants to come in 2025, the door is open. Curious that AM talks of still building the winning team still. I think when you're building a team of Galacticos, you sign everybody, right? All the best. Because already, if you look at their team, their tech team, it's an abundance of riches. There's names that I don't even remember that are god tier. Lucas Febera or something like that. Fallows too. Adrian Newey now as well. Andy Cowell. There's people there at that team already. Alonso can help you develop a car. And then you add Max Verstappen as well. It's one of those where you just keep adding. If Lance Stroll is of that Florentino Perez Galacticos mindset made so famous by Real Madrid back in the day, who signed Ronaldo, Figo and Beckham all at the same time. Proper R9 Ronaldo, by the way, not this Cristiano fella. So it's back is not a bad track, is it, Derek? I don't hate it myself. One Total will miss out on Max again if and when Max doesn't get the WC in 2024, 2025. Merc is filled. What if Honda drops the ball? And that's a possibility, Chiba. There's no guarantees in this thing, especially when you've got a new reg set coming in, new technical spec of car and machine. No, there are no guarantees in this thing. How do you know? It's all too techie. It's just all far too techie, is the truth. Let's have a go. 173 of you watching Kokoro. Do me a favour, smash like. Did Checo have a winning car in Force India? Well, that's not to say he can't get one done. He didn't even win his car. Did he win his race in a Force India? I thought he won his race when he was a Racing Point. It's very techy. No more split turbos, but James Allison's alluding to having a similar level of confidence, isn't he? Saying that potentially Mercedes have the whip hand as far as the technical spec, the engine specification that is 2025. Max Verstappen, top of your timing sheets, by the way, 147.2. Are they back? 147.214.3 down the road from Charles Leclerc, who you'd also expect to go over. But again, remember, for context, table settings, these free practice sessions are fact finding, especially if they brought through upgrades. Alpine going slow. Esteban Ocon. It's a different livery on that Alpine, right? Less blue, more black. I don't hate it, and more pink. Your runners and riders 146.8 from Max Verstappen. Leclerc tails him by. Oh wow, Max Verstappen gone quicker again. I've just realised. Wow. Oh, the humanity. You can't keep a good Max Verstappen down for too long. That's the truth. I'd love to join the Cam podcast. Eddie, we'll try and sort it out, chap. I tell you what, though, Eddie, the scheduling for content is you'll notice that there was no shakedown this week, right? Chaos, right? Yeah, it was Racing Point, wasn't it, Chima? Candidate. Oh, Carlos Sainz, barrier settings. Somebody was talking about on a podcast that Carlos Sainz, when the cars get better, easier to handle, faster in terms of absolute performance and operating window within which the drivers can drive them, that the best just get better. That's when you start to see like Charles Leclerc outperform Carlos Sainz Jr. as the car comes back to them, right? Same thing with Lewis Hamilton and George, that all of a sudden you see the cream start to rise to the top as Ferrari and Mercedes develop their car. Here running, techie. Gee, but don't forget Aston Martin has a developer of Mercedes engine already working on Hunt. Yeah, what if that guy? Oh my gosh, Rod. Oh, the humanity. It's too much. The speculation and conjecture just Oh, the humanity. We are T minus 36 minutes away from the end of this session. Currently yellow flag conditions. No more yellow flag. I appreciate you saying that, Jamie. We do try. Do you know what I mean? We do try. Yeah, what's up, Jomo, the legend that is. Do you know what I mean? Moderator extraordinaire settings. How do you put some respect on Jomo's name? 175 of you watching concurrently. Do me a favour and smash the like. This is your FP1, the first free practice session of this race weekend. That is the Azerbaijan Grand Prix inception point settings. Go on then, McLaren. How are we going to manage it really? Team orders proper. Do you know what that looks like? Because when Ted Kravitz asked Oscar Piastri if he was in the lead towards the latter stages of the Grand Prix and he had 10 seconds in hand on his teammate, one Lando Norris, would he jump on the brake pedal? And he was like, nobody wants that. It's circumstances and fairness, and we've got rules and principles within the team. And mate, I've never seen anybody dance around a question more than Oscar, although ultimately he said the phrase that people are quoting all around the world, that he will, if asked, if absolutely necessary, he will cessate to one Lando Norris. Good luck, mate. Good luck getting that dude to jump on the brake. But Ted Kravitz, as always, asking the right pertinent exam questions. Do you know what I mean? Red Bull cheating, says Debbie. How do you know, Debbie? How do you know? And even are we using is the terminology apropos? Is cheating the right word if they did use a fiddle brake? Isn't this just what F1 teams do? I don't know. True, but I thought that was Allison. Let's see, positive energy. Getting Newey already push Aston Martin to perform better. Yeah, you just can't bet. You can never, like Maximilian Verstappen as at September of 2024. You cannot and should not bet against Adrian Newey being able to build himself a car capable of winning championships. 13 drivers, 12 constructors, 19.7% of all races ever run in Formula One have been won by Adrian Newey machines. That, ladies and gents, is bonkers. 19.7%. What? Let's see if the positive. It's chaos. Baby George is under pressure. I feel bad for George. I would be honest with you. I think I've got to rescind on all the George slander and disparaging sentiment. I feel like they need to put some respect on his name. He's not been too bad. You know who's going to? I tell you who's going to reap what they sow next year. Toto, the boy who cried wolf, and Andrea Kimi Antonelli. Because you think, look, everything that we've seen between the McLaren drivers. Do you think George Russell's going to have mercy on Andrea Kimi Antonelli? Oh no, who's this? Oh no, Charles Leclerc, Mr. Mistake makes another mistake. Of course he does. In the barrier, wheel absolutely done over. Where's my phone? Charles doesn't make mistakes, yeah? Yeah? What are we doing here? Charles doesn't make mistakes. There's another one. And that, listen, he's been brilliant of late. He's been driving the wheels off the car. He's been widely, comprehensively gapping Juan Carlos Sainz. And for context, ultimately, this is only free practice, right? But he's made another mistake. He's in the barrier again. His engineers have another late night on their hands. Oh, the humanity indeed. What's going on, Bruce Dack? I am stupid. Another incident of the race. Charles Leclerc. Fred Vasseur does one of these with his eyebrows. Mate, seen it all before. Read this book. Know how it ends. As brilliant as Charles Leclerc is, as fast as that guy is, he keeps making mistakes. We're talking about all these things Lando Norris and McLaren need to do to make themselves genuine title contenders. How can we talk about Charles Leclerc and not talk about these bloody mistakes? Oh, mate, you go down the runoff area, Charles. You've seen that cut. Oh, Charles Leclerc, what are we doing? He's so frustrated. In one race, he's so brilliant. Mate, I mean, come on, Charles. Come on. Do you think... I need to get on the Twitters, man, and this is... No worries, says his engineer. Doesn't want to come down too hard on him. But that's another... Add that to turn 12 at... Yeah, put your hands on your head. Look, add that to turn 12 at Las Vegas. Add that to bloody all the mistakes at Monaco. Oh, he doesn't make mistakes. How do you mean he doesn't make mistakes? Go on... I challenge you this. Go on Twitter and see what the Charles phones you. Oh, it's not Charles' fault. It's the car that's twitchy. Oh, it's Carlos Sainz's PR that put too much. Behave yourself. Behave yourself. He doesn't make mistakes. He doesn't make mistakes. What's that then? What's that? He doesn't make mistakes. Stupidity. Again, and that's a bad one as well. Another unforced one. He could have saw that coming and had himself down the runoff area. He's going on like that. He's behaving, driving the car like it's Q3. Chap, read the room, Charles Leclerc. It's no, it's not good enough. I don't care. You've got to... Every poll between now and the end of the season that has Charles' name on it will have modern day journalistic. I don't care what anybody wants to say. Deserves it, man. He's a lovely chap. He's a lovely chap. But flipping Nora, as soon as... Let me tell you why I've got this scorched earth thing about Charles Leclerc. As soon as he won the Italian Grand Prix, everyone was texting me, oh, Cameron, put some respect on Charles Leclerc's name. I was like, you know what? I need to see this level of performance. Oh, he's a single race merchant. Every once in a while, he's going to put in a performance like he did at Monaco, like he did at Monza, and he's going to look like a world beater. But champions can't just be fast in one race. They need to be fast consistently and deliver and execute. Anybody can be fast in a vacuum. Do you know what I mean? Put me in a car and I might be able to break a lap record around Monza once. But what am I going to do after that? The greatest ones in Michael Schumacher, right? They were able to repeat for it and repeat for it. Excellence, some say, is what you do every single day, not on one single day. Don't gauge Charles Leclerc when he's at his best. You've got to judge it on a longer timeline. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? This is daft. This is daft now from Charles Leclerc. And I come down so hard on him every single time, right? Because he is so good. The noddy Charles Fossey fans can make excuses for him, but he shouldn't listen to them. Because they're going to have him this time next year making these same noddy unforced errors as if he's somehow infallible. He's not infallible. And yet again, we get proof positive of that. Charles Leclerc is in the bloody barrier at Baku yet again. Is that the same bloody turn? That it wouldn't surprise me if that's exactly the same turn where he made the mistake and kissed the barrier a couple of years ago. Just keeps on making the same mistakes. You know what I mean? Is that acceptable from an F1 driver? One of the 20 best in the world. Behave yourself. Why so scorched earth, Cameron? Why so scathing? Well, because every single time he puts in a bloody quick lap or a performance like he does at Monaco, once every 365 days, do you know what I mean? Everyone's, oh, Charles Leclerc's the quick. Charles Leclerc makes mistakes. Hold that. Like, come to the truth and the light, Charles Fossey fans. In the bloody barrier, yet again. Okay, so it's FP1 and they can go away and fix the car. But Max Verstappen doesn't do that. Why? Because he's a 3, soon to be 4-time champion. Lewis Hamilton doesn't do that. Not that those guys don't make mistakes, but not with the frequency that this dude does. You know what I mean? Which mistake has Max Verstappen made this year? The one at Monaco, cool. And then at Imola, wasn't too clean as well. But they're minor mistakes. They weren't DNFs. He doesn't end up in the barrier stopped DNFing like Charles Leclerc does. And therein lies my issue with Charles Leclerc. I will be honest with you. It's techie. It's chaotic. Love the dude to bits. He's a human being and a stand-up man. A brilliant F1 driver, point to point on any given Sunday. Long form, though, sir. If indeed you want to win yourself some championships, as you should, as your talent demands it. Do you know what I mean? Charles makes Paul. Does he any Max? Maybe. I can listen. Even I can roll a dice and get a 6 sometimes. Even a broken clock tells the time twice, gets it right twice a day. Right, like it's bonkers. Leclerc's amazing race, but he's not. I agree with you on. This is the topic. I can't wait to get onto Twitter in a minute and do a little victory parade. Yeah, why are you so harsh, Cameron? Well, when Charles does something brilliant, everybody's, you know what I mean? Everybody I thought you said he makes mistakes, Cameron. Well, look now. Look at this. Go in the runoff area, Charles. What are you doing, mate? You'd missed. That was sunk cost. Just go down the runoff area, chap. Oh, what a joker. It looks worse in slow motion, doesn't it? Charles Leclerc, for the avoidance of doubt, is in the barrier again. I mean, do you know what I mean? What are we doing here, ladies and gentlemen? I cancelled my 11 a.m. meeting. You're a legend. Nah, Attic, I know. I've got to run a racing. I've got a meeting myself. Sebastian Vettel has still been my favourite driver in all time, and Charles was spanking him. I would never think about insulting Charles or hating him. Listen, it's we'll never sacrifice truth and objectivity at the altar of confirmation bias, or otherwise as we get another unsafe release. Do you want another driving ban, Haas? Hulkenberg, what's going on? All eyes on Ollie Behrman as well. Let's see, how's our mate Ollie getting on? Not bad, eh? 114.5, not a million miles off his teammate in the same machine. Leclerc has the problem of always trying hard. He just can't read the circumstantial room, can he? Yeah, Attic, the humanity. Oh, the humanity indeed. Chessie's somewhere shaking his head. I'm telling you, Sophie, I've just messaged him. I'm not having it. Because, listen, I should show you I can't show you the message. Chessie wouldn't like that. But as soon as Charles won that race last week, I had to eat myself some humble pie. Charles is the greatest. I apologise. How dare I ever call him modern day journalistic? Now look. So I said to Shez check out the last shakedown. I called him. My words were that Charles is a single race Donny. And at any given Sunday he can look like a world beater. But do it in longer form, chap. Make less mistake. You can't do this every weekend, chap, is the problem, and expect to win championships. That's what the issue. And if he was rubbish, if he was like Nicholas Latifi, then you wouldn't care, right? All of this subject would fade to black. But do you know what I mean? Yeah, Shez can't come on a shakedown again. Do you know what I mean? He's gonna have to. I can't shame him. I can't be too harsh. Like I shouldn't revel. You know what the joke is? I'm not reveling in Charles Leclerc's downfall. I'm reveling in the nonsense fans. The Charles Fossey will be sat there saying, "Oh, no, it can't have been Charles' fault. No, it wasn't Charles. Charles is a genius. Charles is Clark Kent before he gets into the phone. But Charles would never make a mistake." I've heard many Charles Fossey fans tell me that to my face, that Charles doesn't make mistakes. Well, how about now? You know what I mean, Bruce Duck? How about now? Let's go again. One mistake and people will ignore the last 3 great races he's had. No, see, what it is that these, right, in celebrating the way that people, Charles Fossey fans, were celebrating the victories, it was as if the mistakes never happened in the first instance. Well, how about now? Good F1 drivers don't hardly bin it. They crash each other. Sydney, you took the words right out of my mouth. It's that type of mistake where it's DNF, session over, walk back to the pit lane. Those type of mistakes is techie. You're a legend. But do me a favour and smash the like if you can, please. Charles Leclerc's in the barriers. Oh, that alpinity. Go on then, you runners and riders. And look at the joke. He's still the top of the timing sheets. Mr. Modern Day Journalist himself, 1:14.6. Max Verstappen on a 1:14.63. But again, temper all this. It's only a fact-finding mission, this FP1. T-minus 22 minutes remaining. Oh, the humanity show. Even crashing the formation. Hanny. How can you be so good and crash so often? Although, the Charfosi, if I'm gonna play good cop, bad cop here, will say that a function of pushing such a twitchy car is that you will have an accident from time to time. That it's the Gilles Villeneuve thesis, right? That if you're not crashing, then you're not pushing hard enough. I don't think that's true. Not in 2024. Not with this tech spec of cars. I mean, you just need to look at Max and Lewis. Lewis has made mistakes, but not like not those ones. Not as often as Charles makes them. Come on, Charles. Let's go. Oh, the humanity. What are we doing? Oh, Charles. Unlucky, mate. Same time tomorrow, Charles, or later on even. Are they even going to fix the car to get some track time for the session later on today, FP2? Attic at Monza, Charles at back. Oh my gosh. And you know what, Attic, I was going to crack a joke that he'd shaved his moustache, right? Moustache Charles was an absolute genius. Clean shaven or 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock shadow Charles. No bueno. His Honda gave sign it's okay to tune up the engine for last races. I don't know. You're talking about Red Bull potentially. Well, I don't know. I get the sense that Charles always pushes to the limit, and it's kind of not always necessary as he exaggerates what the car can do. You got to put. I mean, they say of Max Verstappen that his gift is that he can, like, in understanding the limits of the car, he gets right up to the limit and then he pushes over it, right? But can still keep the car on track. Unfortunately, Charles Leclerc isn't, or at least he wasn't that. He didn't have that in his locker today. Super Ben Wong, you're a legend. No, mate, thank you. This is a fan channel, and again, its success is a function of your guys' interaction. I owe this all to you. Do you know what I mean? Having these F1 conversations each and every single time. Where's I need to get onto Shez, don't I? Shez, where you at, mate? We need to have a chat. Shez will be hard at work now. He won't have time to ingest this FP1, which is a shame. And Max has been named Crash Dappen. It's time, Shaw. Yes, Joanna. Yes, I agree with you. Take that Crash Stappen and give it to Charles Leclerc because he crashes. Look, he crashes much more often than Max Verstappen does. And the crashes, when he does have them, are of a much greater consequence in the barrier. DNF settings. What are we doing? I can't wait to jump on Twitter. Charles doesn't crash. Cameron, who is your celeb crush? I couldn't possibly divulge that information. It absolutely, I love that you retracted the message, but we're going down that rabbit hole now with T-minus 20 minutes remaining of this FP1. Back in the day, I couldn't possibly say it was Halle Berry. Couldn't possibly. Like Charlotte Crash. Am I stupid? It would never have been Halle Berry. Couldn't possibly. Definitely not in James Bond or Swordfish. Nah, could never have been. A modern day, who am I a big fan of? I don't know. Oh my God, there's another Bond girl in Skyfall whose name I don't even know. She's French. I don't know. You guys can go and research it. But she's I enjoy her personality, let's say. Checo Perez P1, not so long, not so fast. Checo Perez, currently runners and riders. Oof, there we go. There's a Sir Lewis, Carl Davidson, Hamilton for you. 1:14.859. Currently your session lead. Again, gapping one Lando Norris to the tune of a 10th, who in turn gaps his teammate Oscar Jack Piastri to the tune of another nearly 3 tenths, 2.5 tenths. Perez, Leclerc. 1:14.6 from Charles Leclerc, aka modern day journalist. How dare you call Charles Leclerc modern day journalist? Why would you ever say such a thing, Cameron? Well, as at 12 minutes past 11 on the 13th of the 9th, 2024, Charles Leclerc's FP1 session is over. Why? because he binned it. That's why. And that's why we call that dude Charles Leclerc, modern day journalistic. And we're not taking back that talk either, not walking back anything. Red flag again. I'm delayed. Up. Is it Colapinto? Oh, Colapinto, go down the... Oh, no. It's all right. I thought he was going to stack it again. Oh, fuck, Colapinto. That was a bad mistake. I feel like that was worse than Charles. He's going through the corner so slow. He's got to be able to... Oh, you're on the throttle too early, chap. Take the apex first. On the combined exit, Colapinto is when you need to jump on the throttle. Trying to... come on, Colapinto. That's not a good look. This is an FP1. This is the Destruction Derby. Do you know what I mean? Another one. I'm not saying anything, Chiba. Not anymore. Sydney. Look at Hammy weaving in and out of traffic on the scariest track. It can be a scariest track. The start-finish track is long. And by the way, they've extended the DRS zone this year back to what it was 2 years ago, which means that DRS is going to be even more powerful, right? The slipstream around here is always strong. But you remember last year they curtailed it. Now they've extended it with a view to get more racing and overtaking. Oh no, Colapinto. But Colapinto's been all right, man. I think Colapinto his first race weekend, he was decent last year. I think he outperforms Logan Sargent at Monza. Like whatever Logan Sargent could have done, he's equivalent at Monza. I think I'm gonna give him some props. Colapinto was all right. T-minus 15 minutes to go of this session. I'm gonna run away ever so slightly earlier though, pedals, and we'll reconvene for FP3, FP2 I hope, and FP3, and quali of course, and the race of course. What do you mean? You just joined Hit the Light, says the legend that is Jomo. Proper legendary settings. Behrman is looking quick in comparison to Hulk. I don't know about that. He was 3/10 adrift, wasn't he? Oh, now he's 2/10 ahead. Oh, the humanity. Let's go, Ollie Behrman. Although, is that... No, they're both on red label. I was going to cry foul and vanity runs. I've just been on XY's Ted getting all the hate. Not that I mind. Ted's getting all the hate because he's asking the questions to Oscar and Lando, wasn't he? The question to Lando. Is Oscar the questions? Wookie Error says Benzie News. The question to Oscar from Ted. There were two videos doing the rounds. The first video was Ted saying, I'm going to try and from memory, so don't quote me. Ted said, yeah, your team are talking all this stuff about rules of engagement and team principles and ethics and team ethos. But now on the back of this new team order thing, that your team, McLaren, that Andrea Stella said that they're prepared to give Lando priority in a 50-50 circumstance, given the fact that he has the best chance of winning a championship because he's only 60-something points away from Max Verstappen. If you, Oscar Jack Piastri, are leading the Grand Prix towards the latter stages with 10 seconds in hand over your teammate, are you going to jump on the brake? How will you feel about that, Oscar? Would you like to do that? Does that mean that you can be a champion if you did? Like he was rigorous. And the preceding question from Ted to Oscar Jack Piastri was something to this effect. What's changed, Oscar? He was almost asking the questions that you should be asking at Andrea Stella. He was pitching him at Oscar, which I can see why people say it wasn't fair. He said something to the tune of, if you're changing to team orders and prioritising Lando Norris, is that an admission of guilt, Oscar, that you did something wrong as a team at Monza? Techie. And they did. I mean, the problem, I think the joke is, had Lando Norris gone on to win that race, I don't think they'd be having this very extensive conversation about team orders. In fact, I know for a fact what they don't like is the squabbling. Two things. The turn 2 incident or the second chicane incident is one thing. The second thing is that those guys were time trialing in the middle of the race. In the middle of the race, when what you needed to be doing is, or the first stint even, when what you really needed to be doing is saving tyres. Hence why Charles Leclerc was able to put in that god tier performance, only to then go and stack it at Baku In FP1, sorry, did I say Charles Leclerc? What I meant was modern day journalistic. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. Oh my God, you see what Charles has started? I know, red flags all over, eh? Red flag central. Here. What are we doing? 12 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in this session. I'm going to run away imminently though. I'm going to be around for another 5 minutes and then we reconvene, of course, during FP2 a little later on. What a poor question. I know, Attic. It was a bit harsh. It's the first question, Attic. Like, is that an admission of guilt? That's a strategic question. Did you do something wrong, Oscar, in the eyes of your team in trying to overtake your teammate around the second chicane at Monza, knowing that your teammate is Lando Norris and he has a better chance at his techie? It's a very layered, loaded question from Ted. RB are just sizing up. I think Max will be candidate. I think you're hitting upon something there. You just don't, mate. They're not. I don't think we can extrapolate out the poor performance, which I'm told was because of tyres, not necessarily car, but the car's ability or inability to switch on the tyres at Monza. You can't extrapolate out that Red Bull Monza performance. Do you know what I mean? Through to the remaining 8 races or so. I just think that's fallacy. Again, longer form. This is why when Charles Fossey is celebrating a Monza, like, yeah, we've got our guy back. I'm like, hang on, take a rain check. Like, let's see longer form. And Red Bull have been doing this excellence as far as their sporting endeavour, making as near as makes no difference. 0 mistakes, whether that's pit crew, whether it's Max Verstappen, whether it's strategically. They've been making more mistakes recently, but assess them in longer form. Seen them over the last 36 months on what they're capable of. Sydney. New drivers can't be Nancat. I don't know what that means, Eddie. I need some Max magic, Daniel. I don't know. I think Max even in his response to the change in tact from McLaren was quite bitey, wasn't he? Asked about the team orders, he was like, listen, mate, I don't care. McLaren are going to do what they're going to do. In brackets, they probably should have done this a bit earlier, but ultimately, Oscar is closer to Lando than Lando is to me in the driver's standings. So what, do you know what I mean? What do you want me to do with that? Max Verstappen said, go away and leave me alone and stop asking stupid questions, is what Oscar Jack Piastri and Maximilian Verstappen were saying. And I don't blame them, do you know what I mean? But again, sometimes you've got to ask some noddy questions to get a soundbite right. Sometimes one must. 200 in chat. I know it's techie. Do me a favour and smash the like, por favor. And then I might tell you guys a secret before I run away about Jensen Button. If we can get to 100 likes, I'll tell you this story before I'm forced to reconvene the session in FP2. Can we get to 100 likes? And then I'll tell you this cheeky Jensen. But sometimes you've got to leave an Easter egg, but you've only got a couple of minutes. I'll be running away in T minus 4 minutes, 5 minutes before the session end. McLaren makes a big mistake to stop one of the 2 first drivers. Lando needed to win on his own if and when they want to keep Oscar. Right, so there's a conversation to be had, right? And Will Buxton talk about this on the race podcast. Go and listen to that one. He said that he thinks there's a growing feeling that Oscar Piastri is the one of the 2 McLaren drivers to take them to the mountaintop. And so, like, what do? If you think Oscar is the next one, then what? Then you back Lando Norris to win the championship and sabotage the next Lewis Hamilton or the next Senna or the next Max Verstappen? That doesn't make sense. So it depends. Context is key. Cameron, as an accountant, should they not look at Piastri's full year potential as opposed to year to date with Lando in front? I love this, Paisley. You're talking my language. Oscar could pass, not my thoughts. This is a great. I suppose I've just hit on it, haven't I, Paisley? But then the antithesis to that thesis, Paisley, is that a bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. Don't do what Mercedes did in 2021 and start thinking about 2022, only to drop the ball then. Had they focused on the bird in the hand and continued to develop that car, that year, that iteration of the Silver Arrows machine, then Lewis Hamilton might have an 8th, right? But instead, they dropped the ball, took their eye off the ball more pertinently, and started focusing on 2022. Oh, there's new rules and new regs. We need to put our eggs in all of that in that basket, and then Red Bull, meanwhile, the Milton Keynes team continued to kept their eye on the prize, right? The 2021, the bird in the hand over the 2 in the bush, knowing that anything can change. There's no controlling for these variables in Formula One. What you need to do is get what you can get in the here and now. Mercedes didn't do it in 2021, and McLaren are at risk of doing the same thing, of not learning from the mistakes of Christmas past. The good ones learn from their mistakes. Some say the greatest ones learn from other people's. That's true. One of the oldest truisms in sporting history, let alone Formula One. Do you know what I mean? Nigel, funniest thing is I watched Shaw hit the wall and immediately turn on cam just to hear the rant. Nigel, what are we doing? Good morning from New York. What are we doing, Nigel? I don't like that. I'm not smart. I don't want to rejoice in a driver that's just hit the barrier. I'm glad that he's okay. It's a dangerous sport. Serious injuries can and will happen, and lives will be lost. Like, do you know what I mean? You've got to put some respect on them. But for the Charles Fossey who are doing one of these, always averting their gaze away from the Charles Leclerc unforced error. Do you know what I mean? It just makes me laugh. What we can't and will not do on this channel ever in your life, as we are T-5 minutes away from the end of FP1, is sacrifice truth, value and objectivity at the altar of partisanship or confirmation bias. I cannot. No, I will not. And so all of the Charles Fossey, oh Cameron, how dare you call Charles Leclerc journalistic? He never makes a mistake. Well, he never makes a mistake. Have you seen FP1 at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix this race weekend? Oh, the humanity. Sydney, sheesh, George is drifting. Everybody's all over the show. I'm going to need to go and digest because I'm just talking. Funniest thing. Yeah, no, Nigel. It had to be done, Nigel. I never read that comment. Right, guys and girls, I'm going to have to run. I'll be back 15 minutes at the very least before FP2, hopefully. Work permitting, but I need to go and smash out some numbers and some Excel spreadsheets. You guys have been legends. Thank you so much for joining. Hit the like on your way out, and I will see you 15 minutes before FP2. Espero. Between now and next time. The prosecution rests. No further questions, Your Honour.